Hello, how are you? This is week 16 of our book series. We've got Who Sank the Boat. It's actually a really cute book with a donkey, a cow, we've got a sheep, a pig and a mouse. So it's which one of the 5 animals sunk the boat. I'll leave that for you to read later. I may refer back to that in a sec. We've got the puppets, so we've got our donkey and our cow. A bit of an angry cow, but we're sick of using a black and white cow. Then we've got our sheep and our pig and our little mouse. So we're going to make puppets out of these. I will do that in fast forward soon. I'm just going to stick on a pop stick with a bit of sticky tape on the back. And then this one, you can see the dotted lines here. So I'm going to cut across the dotted lines and then insert our puppets into the boat. So you can actually use this to retell the story and put the different characters in as you go and follow the book, which I'll come back and do afterwards. I'll put that together first. So that's our first activity. So you've got the craft activity with the fine motor skills and everything else as far as cutting out, putting the sticky tape on the pop sticks, but then you've got the literacy side of things and the sequencing as far as remembering the story. So you could do it as you read the book, or you could read the book first and then see if you remember the order of the characters getting into the boat. So we try and aim for as many or, multiple educational benefits for each activity that we do. So for this one, again, you can do it as sequencing. Now you'll notice the size of the cards. So this is an ordering one as well. We can order it from biggest to smallest. Can we fit it on the screen there? We can order it from smallest. Here, let me get rid of all this stuff behind. There's a good deal of science in this one, which I'll get to soon. We don't get much chance to cover that either. There we go. So we've got smallest to biggest. We can talk about the animal on the left. We can talk about the animal on the right, the animal in the middle, who's in front of the pig, who's behind the pig, who's behind the donkey. So we're using all those preposition words there. I only just thought of that. I've not written that into the pack. But think outside the box when using the different activities, yeah? So we've got the different animals. We could talk about where they live, what they eat. What else could you talk about? Their features. So these ones all happen to have 4 legs. This one, our cow's got 2 horns. Our little mouse has whiskers. I have no clue whether a donkey, pig and sheep have whiskers or not. That could be something you could Google and, just build that vocab and that information and research as well about finding out about different things. So that is our sequencing activity. Now the science. So I'm a little bit excited. So for this one, I've managed to put in a prediction activity. So what we think will float and sink. So this is to use with bath toys. If you want to laminate this and then put some water on the tiles in the bath, this will stick to the tiles. So if you want to do it as a bath activity, go ahead. If you don't have a bath, just leave it as is. You can write, draw pictures. You can physically get the toys, or I'm just grabbing 2 things off my bench here. Hang on, where's something that will float? It probably won't. You're not going to do tea and paint with your kid, but that's just what's in front of me. So you could actually put the toys physically on the paper, separating what you think will sink and what you think will float. I'll go get some proper stuff soon, and I'll do that activity with you with it's going to have to be a lasagna dish. That's all that's going to fit under the camera here, or maybe a jug will. So yes, this is a prediction, what we think will happen. And then we've got this one. Again, you can laminate it and wipe it clean if you want to, or put it in a display folder, or just use it as is. So this is what actually happened. So you may find that you got them all right or wrong. You got some right, you got some wrong, and just have those discussions. What was similar about the things that floated? What were they made of? Maybe what shape were they? How heavy or light were they? And again, building that vocab and the understanding of different properties. Yeah. So we've got the prediction, then we got what actually happened. And then after doing this, so that's our research as such, we're going to actually build a boat. So we're going to design it first, and we want it to hold 10 marbles. So I've gone and bought some foil because I want to make my boat out of foil. I don't know why, that's just what I thought of. So I'm hoping that if I do it wide enough, and shallow enough, it should float, but I haven't tried it. We will try on camera soon. So this one, what will your boat look like? Draw a picture, and then we want to label the picture. with the materials. Yes, so we know what to have ready. So I will do that soon in fast forward as well, because it'll just be long and boring otherwise. And then after that, we've got a reflection. So we're going to test it. Did it float well? How many marbles did it hold? Could it hold more than 10? What worked really well, and what would you do differently next time? I mean, your boat could be brilliant. Mine maybe. It may not be. But this is a really good activity to do afterwards to change something next time and see if we can do it better. Yeah. So I'm going to go get set up for all of this, and I'll be back soon. Bye. Okay, I've got my boat ready, so I've got the little slits in there, and we've got our puppets. Now, I don't want to ruin the story, especially if no one's done it for the first, if someone hasn't done it for the first time. So I'm just going to go from, let's go biggest to smallest here. So I don't think, no, I'm just going to go random. Again, you could talk about, once you've read the story, you can do this in order, but you can also talk about who's heaviest and lightest. You could talk about the animals or people in your house. I mean, that may not be something you want to talk about with weight. Use animals or something else. You could use, sorry, I'm just having some trouble getting that in. Didn't cut it properly. You could use kitchen plates, cups, containers. You could use toys. And, sorry, there we go. There, we've got, I probably should have done those slits a little bit wider, but we have, that's so cute, all our characters in the boat. So, sorry, I was talking at the same time, so I wasn't exactly paying attention, but you can, yeah, retell, talk about different weights, the sizes of the animals, bigger, smaller. You could do your prepositions again, sort of for this one. So who's in the middle, who's at the top, left and right. There we go. And that's just cute, or just have fun with it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, for this one, this is a great opportunity to discuss the different materials and why. Give reasoning. So instead of just putting this, all right, I think that'll float, I think that'll float, I think that'll float, I think these will sink. I want you to give reasons right and have those discussions with your little ones. So I think this will float because it's paper, it's got a big surface area and it's really light. I know wood floats, so I think these two will float. This one has metal, so I'm not sure whether that will sink it. Do you see how we're using that reasoning, and you can model that for your little ones, even your bigger kids, so in your kinder and pre-primary age groups as well. Really good skill to have that reasoning of why you think things will happen, and then to test it and find out where you're right or wrong. Really great learning process. The balloon, I think for the same reasons as this one, I know it's made of rubber or plastic, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that will float. If it was filled with water, oh, I think it would sink unless it had an air bubble at the top and you didn't get all the air out when you tied it. Sure, something to try. The shell, I'm going to say will sink because at the beach, all the shells are at the bottom. And the Lego brick, I'm pretty sure, I mean, it feels pretty dense for what it is. I think that will sink, although if I put it that way, maybe it will float. I don't know, we'll test it. So I've got my fruit bowl. There we go. Now my floating pile. Yay, it floats. My stick, it floats. Can you see the water tension around there? So what if I soak it? Does wet wood, it should still float, shouldn't it? There you go. Again, having those discussions. And it's not about being right or wrong. It's about learning and, oh, there we go. The metal wasn't enough to sink it. Balloon. Now, if it sits on top, it'll float. What if I push it down and get the air out? Nah, still floats. It's still sitting at the top. Have I got all the air out? So obviously if I blew it up, it would then sit on top because the air is lighter than the water. All right, so far I'm correct there. I mean, I didn't go to too much trouble to test anything where I thought I'd be wrong, but there we go. The shell sinks and the Lego block, I'm not sure about that. Okay, it floats. And if I fill it all up with water, still floats. I need something that's gonna sink. What about my tea bag from the beginning? No, that floats as well. And I've got a gingerbread cookie. I'm pretty sure this one will sink. I haven't even unwrapped it yet. It's wood. Oh, hang on. No, of course it's wood. It'll float. Huh, there you go. Anyway, that'll do. You get the point, yes? So when I do this one, sorry, coming, what happened? If I did happen to get them all right, which I did in that case, I could maybe write depending on the age of your kids as well. So bring handwriting into the activity. If that's going to frustrate them, do pictures, do whatever. Or if they're not toys, you could do it with cut and paste as well. So collage materials, which I only just thought of. So this is what happened afterwards. Now I've talked through all of the qualities of them as I've gone, so I don't need to do that again. So wood floating, papers floating, and most plastics, would that be true? Possibly not. That's one to test. So to then do this with just plastics and see if you can find plastics that float and sink. All right, so I'm not going to write there. We've talked through all that. It's completely fine for these activities as well to be auditory. You don't have to sit there and write or draw pictures. You're not going to learn any more from handwriting it. Yes, you will remember more because your memory centers are different when you write as opposed to typing. I'm really not sure writing as opposed to auditory. I haven't researched that. Let me know if you know more than me there. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yes, don't feel you have to write all the time. Writing, there's a time and a place for writing. It is very important, but you don't feel you need to do it all the time. Pictures are completely fine. Cutting and pasting is fine as well. Now, for this one, I'm going to design my boat. So I'm going to rough it in my head, which, yeah. Well, normally it works out when it comes to design stuff. Now, this is my boat. I'm going to try and make a foil bowl. Yes? Oh, sorry. Okay, that's a bit special. So this here is foil. Now, because I'm not required for it to float a certain distance, I don't need to worry about a sail or a motor or anything else. So that pretty well was my design. And you find in, science throughout school, sometimes your simplest designs are the most effective. Now, this thing could completely balls up and not float at all. I don't know. As far as how many layers, I'm going to go for 3 layers of foil to reduce the likelihood of punching a hole in there. Yeah? Because a hole in a boat is not a good idea. All right, I'm going to fast forward. Hang on. All right, my boat is as rough as guts. It looks like a pie dish. But I reckon it will work. And it just needs to hold 10 marbles. So I'm going to go steal some marbles and I'll be back soon. Hang on. All right, I'm back. So I've got my bowl of water. I got my boat. It floats to start with, so that's a good start. Now, I reckon it will hold more than 10 because I made it quite big. So now we're bringing in numbers and counting, and we're going to count how many before it sinks. I'm pretty sure it will do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ah! Whoops. Now I've got different size marbles here. I want to do normal ones. 11, 12, that's still bouncing. 13, 14, 15, 16. Ah! There goes another one. 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, these little ones going everywhere. Here, I'll go to fast forward. All right, we're at 50 marbles and there's not much risk of that sinking just yet. Oh, maybe. Oh no, this is pretty close. But I've only got 7 left. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. So I reckon when I'm, oh, hang on. No, they're not wet. When I'm dropping it, I'm changing the shape of the bottom. So if I chuck some more on this side, just for the sake of sinking my boat, because this here is getting pretty Close. There we go. See, the water's coming in now. And we're sinking. Down she goes. There we go. So it took 50 marbles. It could have taken more, but the placement in the boat mattered as well. Yeah. And the fact that it was foil and malleable's not the right word. It moves. Made a difference too. I'd be really interested to see your designs. All right, that is it. Oh, hang on. No, it's almost it. Wait a sec. These questions. Did it float well? Yes. How many marbles? At least 50. Yes, it could hold 10. What worked really well? I think the flat bowl shape worked well. What could I do differently next time to make it hold more marbles? I would like to test a different material with a similar shape that was more rigid and didn't change shape. Whether that would work better or worse, I have no idea. And then test it, I suppose, against this one with a few more marbles. All right, I'm going to go. I will talk to you soon. Bye.